Who are most vain of all the beings in the world? Okay. Those who use their wealth and friends merely as external ornaments. Yeah. Who are the most vain of all beings in the world? Those who use their wealth and friends merely as external ornaments. So sometimes we meet people, or sometimes we find a side of ourselves that describes, where we use, when it says wealth, it doesn't mean you have to be rich, it just means your possessions. Yeah. So you use whatever you have to create an image, to create an image, to give people the idea that this is who you are. And similarly, using friends as contact people. Oh, I know so-and-so who can get you an in with so-and-so, so I must be very important. The whole name-dropping thing and who you're connected to, and, the llama rode in my car and not your car, and all this kind of stuff. So, we can easily fall prey to that. And society teaches us to do that because, we have an image of the kind of person we want to be. Yeah, whatever that image is, you want to be an activist, you want to be a mother, you want to be a corporate manager, you want to be an athlete, you want to, work in a prison, whatever your thing is. And to do that, you have to have certain possessions and drive a certain kind of car to have that kind of career, don't you? So you have to make the money from your work to support the possessions that will give you the image so that you can have that job. And when you have that job, you also need to have a certain kind of social situation. Okay? So you have to, have a partner that looks a certain way, that acts a certain way, that is of a certain social class or educational class. Yeah? And then you have to bring your children up to have that same mentality. And so everything is, there's an image of what you want to be, and then we use people and possessions to create that image and reify that image. And it's basically we're using them in some way or another as ornaments, to create the image of who we want to be or who we think we should be. And we can see that when people don't do this properly, everybody looks at them. Yeah, I remember we had at DFF, there was one doctor in the group. He drove this old beat-up car. Yeah, and people would like, what? What? How can you be a doctor and drive this old beat-up car? It's just like, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to look like this and, da-da-da-da-da. And so it was, the hippies, the punks, the whatever thing you're doing, we want to create an image, and then we use people and possessions to help us do that. Yeah? So it's kind of a form of vanity because we're not really being sincere with other people. And, I think this verse is really targeting the people who do that to an extreme, who I think we've all met. So you really get a feel like these people are using you because you know somebody, or you have something, or you've done something that adds to their status. So sometimes it's really obvious, yeah. And then sometimes it's much more subtle, And then flip the situation. How about us? Do we do that? Do we have an image of being a certain kind of person, a student at this kind of university. Yeah. You go to certain universities, again, you have to drive certain kind of cars and have certain kind of partners and da-da-da-da-da. Whereas if you go to that university, then you have to, have different people and different possessions. And so everything. How much do we do that too? Especially when we're not sure who we are in the world, to create images and use people and possessions to do that. Yeah? And it's kind of empty in the end. Not kind of empty, it's very empty. One thing that I found very surprising is, many years ago when I, was first getting into the Dharma, I had certain friends and we were all there. Some were Tibetan friends, some were Western friends, and we were all there and we were all, we don't know anything. We're like down at the bottom and everything. And then 30 years later, it's like, oh, my friend is the principal of IBD. Oh my goodness. It's like, how did that happen? I knew them when they were like this. Yeah? And it's just kind of this funny thing of how sometimes people you've known for many, many years, you grow up and you have to assume more power or responsibility or whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah. But how sometimes, that people will say, oh, well now, your example, now that you're a nun at the Abbey, I have more respect for you. And you're going, hey, I'm just me, And, don't conflate me with something else or develop expectations for me that aren't realistic, And so from our side, always having the mind that says, I'm a student. Yeah. Until I'm a Buddha, I'm a student. Primarily, yeah. We may get put in other roles, but our role is always as a disciple, as a student. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How you're saying just transferring from one school to another, how that you need to create a different image, and then how do you go about doing that? And if I know that idea, that person, this, yeah. It's useless. Yeah. Yeah, if you're learning to impress people. Yeah. So the traps we can fall into, because there's one part of us that has a sincere connection with the teacher, and that's really genuine. And then there's another part that loves when other people ask us who our teacher is, and we say so-and-so, and they go, wow, oh yes, they're my teacher, But then the other thing, sometimes you're saying the personality of the teacher, yeah, and do you want to elaborate on that? That you start getting, you're attracted to somebody because of their personality, not because of the teachings?
Well, you get attached to that. It's like, yeah, this person made films, this person wrote this book and everything. And, so it can, so it can mix with that.
Yes.
Other motivation in a way that corrupts it. So you can get that pride that you're talking about.
Yeah. Pride. My teacher, look what my teacher said. I call this chai shop gossip. In India, everybody sits around the tea shops and they all talk, who's your guru a reincarnation of? My guru is a reincarnation. Well, my guru is a reincarnation. My guru is a reincarnation. And they all talk about who their gurus are reincarnations of and the lineages of their gurus and blah, 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 blah. And none of the people talk about the teachings. Yeah, you don't talk about what your teacher teaches you. It's, kind of, I have a special teacher that's, it's a chai shop gossip. It's very easy, to look at superficial things like that. And